Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good.
How are you? So, recently I gave myself a present, and that was to take your 3-day workshop at the Garrison.
Oh, you were at Garrison?
Yeah. And we got into this question and answer period. I don't remember what the question was, but your answer was, it doesn't matter who the human being is. They're all on the path to enlightenment. We're all planting positive seeds. We're all doing all kinds of different practices, to move forward towards enlightenment or consciousness. And what was interesting, the whole room got very quiet and comfortable, and it almost felt like the room smiled because your answer was, it doesn't matter what practice.
Right.
It's whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you bounce from practice to practice once you're comfort level and you're ready. And it was just such a lovely answer, and it initiated such a lovely response from the group. So I got to thinking, from your perspective, what do all the practices have in common? Hindu, Buddhism, Catholicism, the spiritual part. Yeah. So that's my question.
They all have some. Everyone who's doing them has some longing to be free of suffering.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes from, even if it's covered up with a storyline about things, about why people think they're doing them, they're really trying to alleviate and dissolve their sense of separateness. Some people will do it through devotional practices where they follow that love instinct, that love feeling, and they try to merge with that completely. Some people will do it through what might be called awareness practices, where you, even in any kind of emotion or any kind of thought is something to be let go of and become aware of, and but ultimately, they're all about an individual's desire to be free and suffering, and to know who we are, whatever that might mean.
Right.
I mean, it's not necessarily that somebody doing this practice would say that about this practice, but it pretty much it's just us folks trying to get out of here, trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Are there any commonalities on phases or stop points, or I know it's not linear, but so I mean, if the means, it doesn't matter what the means are, and the ends are to alleviate suffering. Are there any set phases or points where?
There might be some basic map of it all, but I don't really know that.
From your experience?
Either that, or I'm still stuck in the first little half jump step,
Right.
I think as time goes on, one gets more accepting of oneself and one's what one can do and what one can't do.
So who's in control here?
It's not really control, but when in India I hurt my knee very badly when I was with Maharaji, and so I was going to go to the hospital, but I decided to go to the temple first and tell him that I was going to the hospital because I wouldn't be there later in the day to see him.
Right.
So my friend helped me walk. I could hardly walk. I limped into the temple, and he was sitting all alone with one Indian guy on his tucket, on his bench, in the middle of the courtyard. There was no one around him, nothing, right? And I limped in, and I sat down, and he didn't say anything. I mean, he saw me limping. He didn't say anything. Yeah. And I thought, this is weird, And I also thought he was going to tell me to get out because we weren't supposed to come until the afternoon. But he
snuck in.
He didn't. He let me sit there for a while. So I thought, fine, I'm going to sit here. You can cut the leg off right there, and I'll just sit here. Then he got up, and he started walking to the back of the temple, and he took the hand of the Indian guy who was with him, and they were walking, and the further he got from me, he started leaning on the guy, leaning on him. It was like he could hardly walk, you know? And I thought, my goodness, he's taking on the karma of my knee, whatever that, because I had been obsessing, what was it that happened? Why did this happen, you know?
Right.
He said, oh my God, he's taking the karma. At that instant, he whipped around and ran back to the tuck, and he sat down and said, you thought I was in pain? You wanted to help me? And he patted me on the head. Very good, very good. Great, you know. So later in the day, I was still thinking about my knee, of course. Later in the day, the rest of the group came, and he pulled out a Bible from somebody's bag. And he opened it up. Read that. Now, I mean, first of all, he's not supposed to be able to read English. Second of all, he didn't even look. You know, he just opened it up and I looked at it, and it was from St. Paul, Corinthians.
Right.
And it said, it was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Right.
And I beseeched the Lord 3 times to take it from me. But the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Right.
So I've been thinking about that for 40 years.
Yeah.
And Ramdas and I talked about it a lot. And we decided that we were proof that his strength is made perfect in our weakness.
Yeah.
Because it's in our really in our real inability to do anything about anything. Everything that happens that's wholesome and good and helpful in us and everyone else is the doing of that one that lives within us.
Right.
And we are the proof that in our helplessness that those things come from a deeper place.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So in terms of doing practice and what we should think about and what we should understand, next,
Right.
be the best person you can be.
Right.
Garner your forces and your energy to do, to really give yourself to your practices.
Right.
You know, and really let them bring fruit, the fruits of practice to your life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
Beautiful.
you know, just do the best you can. All the time, as much of the time as you remember to do the best you can, which you'll notice is not going to be too much of the time.
Right.
Which is humbling,
It
to
is
say the
humbling.
least. You know?
It is humbling. Interesting that you pick out that story because I've been struggling with a right knee problem for
Oh, really?
a little over a year. Yeah.
Well, see a doctor.
Yeah. Well, I have.
First guy who was here was a physical therapist.
I have.
Too bad he's gone.
Is he? He's not here anymore.
I think he's gone.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, good. Too much yoga?
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, my knees are still bad, but they don't. You know, I can sit cross-legged, so I don't care.
Yeah. Half. I can sit half cross-legged at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
good to
for
be
coming.
here.
Good.
Thank you. So nice.